In the midst of a culture war that's bringing out the ridiculous in everyone, it's never been more important to protect your data. Sandman, the patron saint of MGTOW dreams, wants you to know the best way to do that is with the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your data from the evil prigs in Silicon Valley. You only see ads if you want to, and you get cryptocurrency for your attention. Download Brave by clicking on the link in the description.
What's up, you blue pill, blue ballers? Terrence Popp here, Redonkulas.com. Good Pop showed up today because I'm giving you some good news. You're not alone. Now I know you think my circumstances are so unique, no one will ever understand. Shut up, let's drink. I have poured myself a beautiful menagerie here, and I'm gonna tell you my story. The longer I talk, the more things you and I will have in common. Yeah. Before we even get started, we're gonna cover the 5 stages of grief, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with if you went to the feminist school district of the West. Denial, anger, and bargaining, depression, and eventually acceptance. But you're attending Popp School of Hard Knocks, and I have an actual 6th step to that. After you're done processing all that bullshit, it's time to fight fucking back. Most of the shit I talk about on this show, I did it myself. And if I can't laugh at myself, I sure as fuck shouldn't expect you to laugh at me. Every single dude out there takes the red pill for the same reason. He got into a relationship hoping it would be a relationship. Ironically, what happens then? He Titanics his life. And then some fat bitch says,
"There's not enough room for you on the door. Looks like you're gonna
die." And the guy looks up and says, "Okay, remember me." Wah! You know what they say? Simpin ain't easy, and I made a whole video about it. Links in the description. Women will claim the reason why men are failing in the modern dating market is because of toxic masculinity. But I was raised by my mother. Virtually all my teachers were women, and they taught me what women want, expect, and how I should act. So at the end of the day, the problem is not toxic masculinity, it's a lack thereof. And I realized this while I was reading the Dear John letter when I was in the Army. And, true to my own education, I was in denial. I actually mentally punished myself for going in the military at the time. Never mind the fact that this bitch was off to Arizona State jumping face first into the big bowl of Richard salad. And that salad was getting tossed with a whole bunch of ranch dressing and probably some black olives. Oh, it just got dark in here, Space Ghost. And the first time this happens, you're gonna get stuck in the first stage of grief for a long time.
You're in denial.
No, I'm not! Oh, you know what the ladies always say? To get over the last one, you gotta get under a new one. This was kinda like treating a broken leg by throwing myself down the stairs. And I'm gonna be honest with you, gentlemen. It took me right around 2 to 4 years, somewhere in there, to finally put that one behind me. But the next one, that one went by a little quicker. I came back from Ranger School, and I soon discovered that her grill already had a couple of footlongs on it, if you know what I mean. And to my credit, I didn't have a huge blowout over the whole thing. I just bowed out, went to my car, I'm ashamed to say this, but it took me 3 failed relationships just for me to get to the point where I ask the following questions. I'm the common denominator in all this, and if I am, what can I change? For most dudes, this point of inner reflection is a tipping point. But I'm not most dudes, and I'm fucking stupid. I'm a glutton for punishment. You know what they say, gentlemen, 3rd time's the charm. But I was super stupid and it took me 5. I was raised by a single mother, and I was stupid enough to believe everything she said. Yeah, I'll walk right into the slaughterhouse, put the gun right to my head, fuck it. At that point, gentlemen, I had 2 clear paths before me, and only one of them was the right one. And it wasn't long after this I met my soon-to-be ex-wife.
My condolences on your forthcoming divorce.
And why did I give her a chance after 3 failed relationships? Because she's different and she loved me. Right.
We already did the she's different. She would never do that to me.
God, I need a cookie. Gentlemen, I had to stop and eat this cookie because I'm getting so spun up. So while you're at it, go to redonkulas.com/donate, send us a couple bucks, and let me know that you care. Man, I'm just so disgusted with myself right now. Why are you laughing at my pain, man?
In case you haven't noticed, there's a culture war going on, and the spoils are the very minds of people we are trying to save. The war on the West is no longer about men or women. It's about the ideological subversion of Western minds by foreign actors cloaked in a public relations friendly outfit called feminism. Join the fight against the destabilization of our very civilization by reading Surviving Fourth Wave Feminism. Learn some inconvenient truths by clicking on the link in the description, because every time you do, a pansexual non-binary socialist cries.
Less than 10 years later, I was divorced, paying child support for 2 kids that I couldn't afford, and eating McDonald's out of the dollar menu in the back of my car. That is when I finally learned that any rules or laws that are supposed to exist about equality, they don't apply to men. Men are taught growing up from their mothers and teachers that women are oppressed. But as soon as you walk into divorce court or family court, you realize pretty damn quick that that whole thing is a lie.
You are surrounded by your privilege, right?
And guess what? I still didn't learn what the universe was trying to teach me. What an idiot. That horse chick finally forced me to swallow the red pill. That's why I made a whole video about don't you dare ride the horse chick. Links in the description. And once I took that red pill, I realized that everything women had told me about what women want was a fucking lie. I realized that our society and civilization as a whole hates our guts. Do you have any idea of how monumental that is? If you don't know, you haven't taken the red pill. In the eyes of our society, men are absolutely, completely expendable. I just gotta say, feminists, that's some patriarchy you got there. Let's just boil this all down. Why do men commit to women in the first place? They commit because these women have things to offer, like youth, beauty, fertility. Almost all of that is evaporated by the age of 38. And that's when a large majority of these women finally think they should settle down. What do we have to offer? Security, resources, and protection. Newsflash, ladies, men do not age out of providing those things. So please tell me this once again, I dare you. Who, in fact, is the prize?
Chad Swagger is who Bad Pop would be if he hadn't joined the army. A typical American male who enjoys getting drunk on the weekends with ambitions to become a beer baron and a lousy lover to platinum blonde Icelandic bombshells. Half as charming as he thinks he is, and twice as desperate. The Bro Next Door is free on Amazon Kindle, but it's an extra $10 if you want a kiss on the mouth. A link is in the description.
I'd spent my entire life thinking that women were the prize and they were oppressed. Once you take the red pill, you realize the exact opposite is true. And if you don't believe me, talk to all of those dudes who got divorced after they got hurt and lost their jobs. Or those guys who got divorced right after they paid off their ex-wives' student loans. I know what the ladies out there are saying.
That's not my feminism. Men and women are equal.
I dare you to explain all of the double standards out there between men and women. I'm talking about women doing 1/3 the time for the same crime as a man. I'm talking about women filing 80% of the divorces and winning 85% of child custody. I'm talking about abortion advocates bitching about people going shopping without a mask.
Like seriously, woman, who won't wear your mask, who don't wear your gloves, who don't practice social distancing. Wear your fucking mask, wear your gloves.
I thought it was my body, my choice. What changed, ladies?
Pop, now there's actually lives at stake.
Why don't you say that again real slow, because sometimes stupid doesn't stick on the first pass. Abortion is the sliding scale for what's in store for men down the line. The whole argument for abortion used to be safe, legal, and rare. Now it's on-demand, taxpayer-funded up until birth. Gee, I wonder what followed that exact same trajectory. No-fault divorce! You used to have a reason to get divorced. Now it's simply because, and it's taxpayer funded. And if you don't believe me, look up Title 4D, links in the description. We went from smash the patriarchy to kill all men.
We need to kill all men.
Can you imagine if any man said the exact same thing about women? He would be dead by now. He would be paraded on social media in front of the world as the shining example of toxic masculinity. Isn't it amazing that we never hear about toxic femininity? I'm just asking for a friend. No, we can't talk about any of that. We have to make men feel ashamed for being men. Especially if you're a white cis male, like whatever the fuck that is. Ironically, these are the same people who will look you in the face and tell you that race and sex are social constructs.
Something about sex I don't think many people are familiar with, however, is that it's a social construct.
And these are the same people who will say you were always discriminated against because of your race and sex.
Everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
To hear these people speak, you would think that men are in control of everything, and they have to smash the evil patriarchy. And yet we can't get the media, society, or anyone to show us one shred of compassion. More men die of testicular cancer? Who cares? More men get prostate cancer. Fuck them. The male suicide rate puts the female suicide rate to shame. Who cares? So what? You know that patriarchy you've been talking about, ladies? I'm not seeing it. I didn't see it before or after I took off the rose-tinted glasses. I got a challenge for you out there, you ladies and jelly spoons. Find me a public fundraiser for prostate cancer. Meanwhile, 1 month a year, I get my pizza in a pink box because of titties. Now listen, I'm not telling you I don't like titties. In fact, I love titties more than a rational man should, and I certainly don't want them to get cancer. But you see how all of this logic falls apart when you start asking basic questions. And then you wonder why, once you take the red pill, you're so pissed off. I moved beyond the bargaining, the depression, and the acceptance. And now I have moved on to the 6th level, which I call the Boogaloo. So why don't we finish our menagerie together, because I'm done with you. Space Ghost. No. We're expected to march to our death, do jobs we die in, sacrifice ourselves for the common good, and nobody fucking bats an eye. They don't fucking care. And those are all the observations that you come to. And I remember the day it all hit me at one time. I was just like walking through the mall, and I was just like, I heard like this bitch yelling at her dude, and I stopped, and I'm like, that was like the last, like it was a big Tetris game, and that was the last thing that fell into place, and I was like, whoa! Yeah. Civilization hates me!